covering Northern California. You're watching Action News Now, coverage you can count on.
President Trump returns from the G7 to monitor the latest in the conflict between Israel and Iran. I'm Natalie Brand with what the administration is saying about next steps.
Fire investigators now say they know what sparked the Heaven fire, still burning north of Wairika. And a 3-year-old child is dead, his babysitter arrested for murder in Happy Camp. New at noon, Red Bluff police have identified the man who died while being taken into police custody yesterday. Officers say 44-year-old Gary Eagle of Red Bluff physically resisted arrest when officers contacted him about a stolen bicycle. After he was taken into custody, police say he started showing signs of medical distress and that officers called for medical assistance and started CPR, but Eagle died at the scene. The DA's office is investigating the incident, including the force used by officers. We are still on fire watch with the Heaven fire burning in Siskiyou County. CAL FIRE now says that fire is 50% contained after burning 20 acres in rugged terrain about 6 miles north of Wairika. And we now know the cause. Fire investigators say it was caused by a welding torch. Crews are working to strengthen containment lines and keeping any fire activity within the controlled boundaries. A morning fire is being investigated in Trinity County. It started in the Hayfork area on Highway 3 and Wildwood Road, and you can see the smoke from this Alert California camera time lapse. The fire showed up on the cameras around 4:20 this morning. CAL FIRE confirmed it started as a structure fire and that they helped battle the flames that spread to vegetation. We are working to find out whether it involved a home and if there were any injuries. A live lookout from the Girard Ridge Alert California camera. Beautiful shot of Mount Shasta. For the very latest on conditions, we check in with Court Klopping.
Good afternoon, Linda. We have sunny skies and hotter temperatures on tap through your Tuesday, and those temperatures are continuing to rise for the rest of this week, or through the middle of the week, I should say. We've got some welcome changes for temperatures late in the week, but it's not all welcome news on the horizon. Sunny skies across the region for today. We'll see more of the same heading into the afternoon, and clear skies for tonight with more sunshine through the middle of the week. And again, those temperatures just heating on up. For today, it's mid to upper 90s for the valley heading into this afternoon. For the northern Sierra and southern Cascades, we're going to end up mostly in the low to mid 80s for the afternoon with 80s to low 90s in the northern mountains. Your fire danger forecast. Temperatures could get up to close to the century mark in the valley. Winds mostly out of the southeast late in the day, so that's decent news. They're not too strong, and humidity as low as 15%. So fire danger for your Tuesday in the moderate range. But we are seeing an uptick in fire danger later this week as the winds pick up. I'll be tracking when stronger winds are ahead and when triple-digit heat is looking likely in your forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Right. Thank you, Court. We're getting our first look at a Siskiyou County babysitter behind bars on murder charges for the death of a 3-year-old boy. Deputies arrested this man, 23-year-old Marion Spence. They were called to a home on Curly Jack Road in Happy Camp just after 5 o'clock Friday night, where they found the child unresponsive. He was taken to the hospital but died early Sunday morning. Investigators say the child was in the care of Spence, who was arrested for murder, child neglect, and causing great bodily injury. Tonight, the Chico City Council will decide the path forward for changes to South Park Drive in Lower Bidwell Park. 4 options are on the table for a final design plan. The Bidwell Park and Playground Commission recommended option number 3. It maintains one-way vehicle travel while adding a separate multi-use path for cyclists and people on foot. We spoke with some park goers about what they want to see.
Having the no cars there, I wouldn't mind seeing that as a permanent fix.
A lot of cars, a lot of bikes, a lot of families. If we can make it wider, it'll be safer for the pedestrians.
Option 1 also keeps one-way traffic but adds a multi-use path and adds 66 parking spaces. Option 2 would permanently close all of South Park Drive to vehicle traffic, and option 4 would involve pavement work only. The Redding City Council meets tonight to tackle the final terms of the lease for Redding Sports Park and the concessions agreement with the Shasta Regional Soccer Association. The lease would be for a 2-year term with 3 one-year options. calls for the city of Reading to keep 75% of net income after expenses, and the Soccer Association would keep the remaining 25%. The council will also discuss changing the regulations for short-term rentals to allow short-term rentals in apartment units and duplexes in the downtown mixed-use district. And the police department is asking to increase signing bonuses to help recruit new officers. That meeting starts at 6. In Oroville, city leaders will talk about an agreement with Pioneer Community Energy. If the city signs the joint pact, Oroville will no longer be in partnership with PG&E and instead will get its power from Pioneer Community Energy. The council will also discuss entering into an agreement with Oroville Resource Center and Rescue Mission to allow use of the city's mobile restroom and shower trailer at the Esperanza Village Pallet Shelter. And council members will also consider spending $49,000 to study the feasibility of a series of annexations. We'll take a closer look at what they're hoping to learn on tonight's news. In social media posts today, President Trump urged Iran's unconditional surrender and said the U.S. knows where Iran's supreme leader is hiding, but does not want him killed for now. The president left the G7 summit in Canada a day early to monitor the latest developments between Israel and Iran as the conflict enters its 5th day. Natalie Brandt has the latest from the White House.
A cloud of black smoke billowed over the central Israeli city of Herzliya as Iran and Israel continue to trade strikes, while Israel's air defense is intercepting many of the missiles. Some were getting through. An Iranian missile slammed into a block of apartments Monday.
I'm not prepared. Israelis don't want terror. We want peace.
The Israeli military says it continues to target military sites in Iran. But blasts on Monday also shook Iran State TV during a live broadcast. President Trump on social media urged people in Tehran to evacuate.
I just want people to be safe.
The president, speaking to reporters on Air Force One this morning, said he decided to leave the G7 summit early to monitor and discuss developments in person.
The Pentagon has increased its defensive posture in the region, saying protecting American forces is the top priority. But officials tell CBS News the U.S. is not joining Israel offensively in its military operation.
President Trump said he wants what he called a real end to Iran's nuclear program.
Look at it better than ceasefire. We're not looking for a ceasefire. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple.
At Iran's border with Iraq, CBS News' Holly Williams spoke to Iranians who are stockpiling food and gas, some saying they believe the Iranian regime is frightened. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
More than 200 people in Iran have been killed so far. At least 24 have been killed in Israel. In a statement issued last night, the Group of 7 Nations expressed support for Israel's right to defend itself and labeled Iran as a source of instability in the Middle East. Russia launched one of its deadliest assaults in months on Ukraine's capital overnight. Hundreds of drones and nearly 36 missiles tore through Kiev overnight, killing more than a dozen people, including a U.S. citizen. European leaders are urging President Trump to pressure Russian President Vladimir Putin into accepting a ceasefire. A traffic alert for drivers traveling Interstate 5 through Shasta County. Starting today, you should expect lane closures and delays on the Pitt River Bridge. Crews will be inspecting the bridge between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m., and that work will continue through Thursday. The bridge is in Lakehead, about 15 miles north of Reading. Another bankruptcy brings another store closure in Chico, where at least one new store will open this week as well. And we'll look at the local economics of water cutbacks as local leaders weigh in on the impacts.